Page 34, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. At the top of the page, they're introducing you to the key of D major. They say D, but major's implied. If you leave out any descriptor like minor, diminished, augmented, whatever, the major's implied. But it's D major. It has two sharps, an F sharp and a C sharp. This is the time you need to go to my scale video on D major and learn that scale one octave up and down. You do the trill exercise, do the wrist, all the whole nonsense I put in there. And while you're at it, go ahead and do the scale for B minor, because it also has two sharps, same key signature. So just do those two scales, just one octave up and down is fine. This is if you don't know it. If you happen to already know it, that's fine, then you already know what D major is about. You can go 2 octaves, but please don't go 2 octaves if you don't know the scale. Just 1 octave. You know, you can overcook the stew real quick and burn the food if you try too much too soon. Just take it a little at a time. 1 octave is fine. Just make sure you do the trill exercise. Now for this piece. Common time or 4/4 time. We've already said it's in D major. And I want to talk about this rhythm in the right hand. The left hand's not too bad. But at the beginning, you're starting here. Remember the C sharp. 1 and 2 and. At the end of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's 3 beats, 3 beats, not bouts. Go on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and then reach down with the thumb. And triplets. Don't you just love them? You kind of love them. Well, triplet. So the first note is on beat 1. And after the triplet, you're on beat 3. Good luck getting there. It's triplet. So it's 1 and 2 and triplet. 1 and 2 and triplet. 1 and... Your piano players got to do this all the time. So it's only this case the triplets first. With triplet, 3 and 4 and triplet, 3 and 4 and. Sometimes I'll, just to help me out, I'll put it in cut time, so I'm thinking 2 beats per measure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and a 2, because I can do that. 1 and a 2, it's triplet, triplet 2, triplet 2. So it's triplet 2 and, triplet 2 and, triplet 2, triplet 2 and. So think of it in 2, 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2, triplet 2. It's a lot slower than that, but I'm just trying to get the feel of it. And the third line down, second measure, triplet 3. The top of page 35, second measure, 1. I mean, good luck with that one. I just think 1, 2, 1, 2. So if it'll help you, just try and get it on, because the left hand won't help you, it's got whole notes. I don't recommend trying playing quarter notes along with it. That just makes it worse because the hands are doing different things. But you could try half notes in the left hand if it'll help you. So go back to the second measure, the second line on page 34. Half notes. And then the next line down, second measure. And go up the top of page 35, the second measure here. Just think half notes. Whatever it takes to help you get this drilled into your feeling about these triplets. They're tricky. But then we go on, and it gets even better and better. It's top of page 35, last measure. 1 and 2 and triplet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or 1 and 2 and triplet. Good luck with it. So 1 and 2 and 3. I like the fingering in the book, except here. Second line, I don't do that. I think, yeah, they're preparing for the D that's coming up, but I would use second finger on the F, so just third finger here. So I can do it all right here in this position, and then come down. So I'm going to recommend third finger for the A, and then 2-4. And you can use 2 here, or here if your hands are small, it's fine. Otherwise, stay there. So now let's look at this rhythm. Second line, here 1 and 2 and 3, that's a rest on 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, so you're resting on 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 3 and 3. The second finger is fine if you want to use it. And then come up. 1 and 2 and triplet. You're doing that again. It is a tricky song rhythmically. What you usually do is you just listen to it. Oh, I got the rhythm. I would prefer you be able to actually figure it out and understand the rhythm by looking at the notes. That, in my opinion, is where the learning really happens. Left hand, well, whole notes. Ain't this something? Finally, you just got to know what these chords are. You don't know the name of the chord, don't care. I mean, they got the names up above the step, but the point is you need to know the notes. Get them all down at the same time, all these notes. Here, and then second line, second measure, it's an A then. You got to watch it. They tend to change notes on you in these chords without telling you. So work out all these chords. Now, you get top of page 35, last measures, it's with 1 and 2 and 3 and rest and 1 and 2 and 3 and that's the rhythm. It's a broken chord is all it is. Put the hands together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and triplet 3 and triple. Don't forget the C sharp. Triple, triplet, 2, 2, and then going on. Make sure you wrist on the right hand. And that A is by itself. So you work it out. I'll give you an idea what it sounds like. Then go back and get rid of the hesitations. It's nice and slow, it's not a fast piece, but the beat has to be steady. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, at this beginning, it's more like in the style of what's called a recitative. A recitative was a thing used in opera where they had things to say, but they couldn't say them, they had to sing them. So they would sing what they were saying, and usually just on 1 or 2 notes, and the rhythm they used were the rhythm they would use if they were going to talk. So, and that's sort of what this is here. It's just recitative. She's talking, but she's singing to do it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Thinking and talking. And then when you get to the top of page 35, last measure, where the double bars are, the new section, now the song is this is. Going a little fast, I should slow that way down. But that's the point, that's the idea of the piece, is you have this talking, singing, talking at the beginning, and then the song is on the second page. It's like at the beginning you see the word verse right above the staff. We have talked about verse and chorus before. Well, in this case, the verse is actually the recitative type thing. You're talking and singing at the same time. And then top of page 35 at the double bars at the end of the first line, then you have the chorus, and that's the actual song. So you can have multiple verses to this, multiple words to it, but then when you get to the chorus, it's always the same words. And generally, the chorus is going to be louder than the verse, generally. Yeah. Speaking of that, as far as articulation goes, play this basically as smooth as you can play it and still lift up for the rest. I like to hear the phrasing. I don't agree with the phrasing they put in here. I would follow the sentences and the words. When you have to take a breath, lift up so we can hear the breath. And then dynamic-wise, well, it's to the melody. So this left hand needs to be very soft. To stay right at soft. I tend to get a little louder and softer. You have to get past the mechanics and start feeling the music. You can get a little louder and softer. Just stay in this soft range is all it is. And then at the top of page 35, they're telling you in the second measure, start getting a little louder. You can actually be up to about moderately soft to almost moderately loud, and then you're starting out moderately loud. If you can work it, I want the top note in the right hand to be that and everything else soft. If you can't do that, then just play the right hand louder than the left. And at the end, you're loud there at the very end. And do 5-2 on them. And they even have an accent on that last note. That makes that one very loud. Speed-wise, you have to experiment with this. You can find recordings of this. This part, you don't want it to drag, but it's not a. It's like she's almost talking to herself. The same speed when you get to the chorus, it's just louder. It's not a fast piece, it's a gentle, nice and slowing piece. It's a love song, actually, sort of. Then they added the pedal. Well, in this case, we sort of need it because it's really dry and choppy. With all these repeated notes, I need the pedal to connect them. And what they're doing for the most part with the pedal, well, if I pedal it the way they're showing, this is what it is. Overlapping pedal. Here, this part, I don't want to catch, this is the last line on page 34. First measure. I don't want the B, so I'm going to change it on the half note. Here, so it's by itself. Here they are, in the third measure, they are changing it. And on the last measure, I don't pedal the F sharp. I wait until I get to the E. Because I don't want to catch it. I don't want that. And I lift up on the eighth notes. I don't want to blur them. So the last measure, let's just do the last line of the here. page 35, third measure. Lift. I want to hear a rest. And here, I lift up there at the end. I don't want to smear that. I want to hear the rest in the left hand. I guess I'm lifting up on the fourth beat. You lift up on the third beat in second measure. So I'm kind of lifting up with the left hand rest on each of these. Rest. I guess you could say I'm pedaling the first two beats is what. The second line, second measure. No. Now here you got to pedal. I need help connecting the right hand. So it's every two beats. If you want to connect these in the third line, second measure, some measure, you need to pedal them to connect them. So the third line, but lift up here. Don't catch them both. Now here I'm getting off of it because I don't want to keep it when I'm doing that, so I'm getting off of it. You can pedal it the way it's shown. You have to listen very carefully to what the pedal is doing to the sound and judge it. Always learn a piece without pedal first so you can hear and make the fingers do what they need to do and you can hear it clearly. And that way when you add the pedal you can hear distinctly the effect the pedal is having to the sound. And always question it. Now that little bit at the end, the song actually ends when the words are. When the words ends at the last line, that third measure, that's it. Keep your distance, we're over. This other little bit is a tag or a coda. See, codas don't have to be marked coda. A coda is a tag at the end of a piece, or a codetto if you're a little one, but it's an afterthought. It's like when she said, don't keep your distance, and now you're thinking about, well, I don't know. We'll think about it. That's what it's. I tend to slow down there on the afterthought. Here, whatever. There's no fermata there, but I tend to put it. It's called interpreting the music. You learn it the way it's written first exactly, and then you start getting into it, and you may want to feel it a little bit. That's where you can also, because it's an arrangement, you can rearrange it now. But after you've learned it the way it's written, because this isn't piano music, this is from a musical. And you got an orchestra playing this and a soloist doing that. And a lot of times in interpreting music, give you ideas about interpreting. I give you bits and pieces of interpreting music in the different videos. You kind of got to put it all together. But when you have a longer note, like a dotted half note, you can bring those out a little bit, simply because they're longer, especially with the piano, because after you play it, it dies away. So it's here at the beginning, you're soft. You can play that strange just a little louder, not a lot, just a little louder because it's longer. Then just bring it out. Then come off of the phrase. Come down and then start again. Believe me. And then use the song. Some of these, like this is the third line down on page 35, second measure. You need to pedal that to connect it. You need to, because I have to play the F sharp twice. So make sure you pedal that, connect it, and that's the only reason we're pedaling it. So experiment with the sound and different ways of interpreting it, and get into and feel the music on this, and experiment with crescendos and decrescendos. You're just staying in the area where it's telling you to stay is all. That's all.